The third aspect of the Channel Combiner plugin we're going to look at is the mysterious straight to pre-multiplied option. You basically use it when you have a source that has a very wispy, transparent alpha and a lot of color in that transparent area. Some effects don't process the color in that alpha correctly. You can use Channel Combiner to alter how the color in the alpha is displayed to an effect to alter then how the effect's going to process that color. Let me show you an example. This render from a 3D program includes a wispy, glowing alpha channel around this sphere. And here's what just the alpha channel looks like. You can see it's very transparent around the edges of this sphere. Now this 3D object was rendered with a straight alpha channel, and what that means is the RGB channels actually contain full color information for the glow around the sphere. This is then factored against a very wispy alpha and provides a final image that has just a very faint blue glow around the sphere. Okay, that's fine. But what happens if we apply an effect that pulls in some of that color information? For example, if I apply Minimax to this sphere and start cranking up the radius of the Minimax effect, you'll see some strange things are happening around the edges. It's basically pulling in the color from that glow, that bright straight alpha color, and blending it into the middle of the sphere, which has a solid alpha. This is just ugly, not acceptable. This is where Channel Combiner can help us. Effect, Channel, Channel Combiner, place it before Minimax, and choose the option Straight to Pre-Multiplied. What Straight to Pre-Multiplied does is pre-multiply the alpha. In other words, it mixes in black background with the RGB channels to match the strength or weakness of the alpha channel. I'll turn off Minimax for a second and look at my RGB straight again, and now you'll see the wisp around it is a much more muted gray, not the bright blue. But the alpha channel is currently the same. Put this back to RGB for a second, turn on Minimax. Now you'll see the Minimax is not pulling in the really bright straight alpha color, it's pulling in the much more muted pre-multiplied alpha color, and it looks a lot more natural. One downside of this though is I've lost a lot of the strength of my glow. You see I'm using my original alpha channel, but the colors in the RGB channels surrounding it are much more muted, so I'm only getting a muted result. Well, Channel Combiner to the rescue again. I'll duplicate Channel Combiner, just like I did for color space conversions, put it after my sandwiched effect, use Straight to Pre-Multiplied, but by clicking the Invert button, what it will do is invert this command. It will now go pre-multiplied back to straight. And now you'll see I'm back to the original strength of my glow around the sphere, but the Minimax effect has been successfully applied. Now just to show you for comparison, this was before processing and after, so I've kept my glow the same. If I did not use these effects, Minimax is going to do really wacky things with the color channels. But by doing some manipulation of what type of alpha channel is presented to an effect, I can now get a much more pleasing result. I'd run into the same problems if I had a pre-multiplied render with weak colors, applied an effect that really pumped up those colors, wouldn't be very satisfying, they'd have a lot of black in them. Well, I can go ahead and use Channel Combiner in the reverse sense. Do it pre-multiplied straight beforehand, straight to pre-multiplied afterward, and then the effect in the middle can process the full color out there, not the reduced pre-multiplied color. So Channel Combiner does a lot for a very simple and somewhat misleading name. You may find it handy for some advanced compositing applications.